Alright guys, welcome to another speedrunning video. Yeah, KontemplArTimo here. And this time I just came back to my straightforward random doodling style back again. And yeah, I really had a great time just to draw this doodle. Yeah, it's not my first doodle of that kind. So in the past I've drawn more of that kind, like with only black and white and only using an ink pen without coloring anything. So you may find them on Instagram or DeviantArt. Just yeah, I could just really recommend also to click on my DeviantArt profile just to yeah offer you a more closer look into all the details there and what's happening, right? And also just another fact for you to know is that I can't deny also the positive influence which PeterDraws, the amazing artist out there on YouTube, would have had on my work, right? So had lots of influence on it, and I know just watching his videos makes me more and more try out this approach of hopping into a doodle and see where it goes, right? So just turned out to be one of my favorite things to do in the meantime. Although I do not only draw things like these doodles as you may seen or may have seen in my recent videos before, but I just always love coming back to this straightforward doodling because it's such a creative process that allows you to add just anything onto the paper without any pressure, because you can always figure it out somehow and work out all kinds of mistakes, right? Which are actually not really mistakes. So yeah. So I had nothing planned out in advance. I just hopped into it very spontaneously. And the only prompt that I got was to incorporate and feature a little snow owl. So that was basically everything, and with the rest I could just play around and go wild, right? So drawings like these are really the best because you don't have to force yourself to get a certain kind of shape or motif right. So no reference at all. You can just go crazy with all kinds of shapes, and there are simply just not really mistakes with that drawing style. Although with this, I did not stay completely abstract, right? So you can see these kind of machines incorporated alongside with the organic shapes, and as well as later on, not now, as you can see here, but later on also incorporating trees, because yeah, I tend to draw lots of roots and trees in my drawings because I love them. And yeah, trees and roots really turn out to be one of my main inspirational sources that I would always come back to. And yeah, it took me quite some time, like really a lot of years, to get tree branches right. So I had to look at several trees and make lots of studies, lots of study drawings. So yeah, in my past they looked awful, and I still think that I could have some more practice on it to get better at the more imaginative kind of drawing without requiring any kinds of reference, right? So that's the goal, where to go. Because, yeah, just like I said, with these drawings, I just play around and go crazy because I do not want to rely on references too much with that drawing style, because it's all about going crazy and just try to work out the more subconscious, right? Hope you get that right. Yeah, from that point of view, you may just compare it more to maybe surrealism, Yeah, I guess that fits quite good into the concept of it because just like I said, it's nothing planned out. And sometimes with some other doodles, I would just go in there and draw without looking at it, right? So just blindly draw all these lines at first, and afterwards come back in and yeah, find new shapes, combine them together in with whatever kind of way. Oftentimes, to try to create new things. Although it seems like that all these shapes and styles just repeat somehow. Although that no drawing would look like the other, right? So I just don't copy certain sections, but certain kinds of shapes, just as a basic type of shape, right? So just like these wibbly wobbly branches and roots and whatever kind that might be. So it's just up for your own imagination to decide what it might be, right? So I kind of love that deliberateness, right? So it's not all too concrete and prescribed somehow. Yeah. And indeed, not only for me as an artist, but also for the viewer, these shapes really allow a lot of space when it comes to imagination. That's also what I enjoy about them. And yeah, I can't deny I just adore adding lots of details because I'm a huge fan of that. Yeah, oftentimes I also catch myself just looking around in everyday life and looking very, very closely at all kinds of everyday objects. And sometimes you would discover pretty interesting things going on around. So yeah, can be really refreshing for your own creative fuels or imagination just to look around what's out there in the world and have a closer look than usual. Because oftentimes just people would ignore certain things in life because they just focus on other things in their lives and are just oftentimes too busy thinking about their job and whatever kind of life situation they might be. And sometimes we just forget about the beauty that is all around. So that's a bit sad, but can't blame anybody for this because I also know that you can't just for your whole life just walk around and daydream all day, like not caring about your job, financial situation at all. I mean, there are things to be done, so don't get me wrong with that. But sometimes, especially when you're an artist or trying to come up with new drawings and new shapes and inspiration, it can really be or have a huge positive effect on your creativity if you sometimes just come back to very basic shapes. Like, I mean, there are so many trees out there. You just gotta go out and look at what's all around you. So that's all, right? So yeah, here you can see me adding all kinds of branches, and I had no reference for this tree. And yeah, although it wasn't that easy to edit because it's a more of a certain kind of shape, right? So you would recognize it directly and not probably not interpreted it as something else but a tree, right? So with things like that, I just feel like, oh, I'm more under pressure because I want to work it out like it is, right? So you got that kind of reference and comparison, and you always compare it to how realistic it might look. And that all falls apart when it comes to the other shapes that I've added to this, right? So it was all the pure freedom to draw whatever you would like. I think these shapes there, especially the tree that I've started on the right side, was way more different from a natural tree, as you can see. So, I mean, if you would see a tree like that in real life, please send me a picture. That would be really amazing. But yeah, just like I said, I basically had no reference. So the only thing that I had a reference of was that snow owl that I would just saw it right here in the video. And yeah, I think it came out quite good in order to catch all these very fine details here for this owl, because I wanted to get it down really neat, right? So that's why I switched my ink pen from time to time. And there I've used a very, very fine, so an 0.05, so the smallest one that I have, actually. Yeah, I like this owl. Turned out great, I think. Was maybe, I don't know, I haven't drawn that many animals in my life so far. So yeah, I'm not that too comfortable with animals yet. Especially when it comes to larger animals, because I tend to have problems at drawing legs and should have more studies on that, how everything is built up, like the whole body and things like that. But yeah, I kind of drift away from that topic here. Sorry, just rambling around, you know. Trying to talk about something that makes sense, actually, just to give you a little insight into my mind. And yeah, a funny thing about this sign that I've added to this, which was actually a little bit tragic, or really not what I intended to do, was that people would confuse this sign here with a tombstone, and that was definitely not my intention, not at all. So yeah, I hope you would see in it more some kind of a covered sign, right? Just covered up with all kinds of slimy maybe shapes, right? Maybe it is slime, maybe it's something else, who knows? Just let it up to you, because I don't like to prescribe too much with my work, especially with that kind of work. The only thing is that I would prescribe here is to please not confuse this as a tombstone, because yeah, it's just meant for the commissioned person, and I don't want him to be dead. That's for sure. So yeah. Now you can really compare maybe, or in the end, the different kinds of branches that I've added here, and that they differ from each other. Like the other tree on the right top corner is way different from the other. That's for sure. Yeah. And for the future, I've also thought about maybe drawing some larger drawings like that. So the format of this was only A5, right? So it was about 21 by 14.7 centimeters. And usually the only other doodle drawings that I would do in a larger size would be A4. So that would be about 29.7 by 21 centimeters, right? So maybe for one future drawing, I might do a bigger one and go to A3 with just double-sized A4. That's basically all. So yeah, but I guess that would take a lot of time. Well, I think it might be worth it. Though I also think that I might just reduce a little bit the amount of detail that I would put in, because otherwise you just get lost in it way too much, right? I mean, you already might get lost at this little piece of the size of A5, which is way smaller than a A3 size, right? And so yeah, you're just at the end of the video. Try to get the autofocus right, but always tricks me. I don't know. autofocus and I are not the closest friends, that's for sure. So that's what I would basically, for future videos, just go straight forward with focusing this manually. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, this time just rambling all around the whole time. And I don't know, if you enjoy the rambling or if you would have some other topic to talk about, please let me know in the comments. You may also just ask me some questions, like general questions, or about my art and how I would do it and whatever I might see in it, right? So just feel free to ask. Alright guys, I guess that's the end of it, and yeah, wish you a pleasant rest of your day, and hopefully see you in another video. So goodbye everybody.